G'day everyone. Yesterday, the 6th of December, was 6 months since I took myself to hospital thinking that I might be having a stroke. And as it turned out, I was, but that wasn't diagnosed immediately. I arrived at the hospital at about 7 p.m, got seen within 30 minutes, but didn't have a CT scan until about 10:30. And the results came back negative, which I thought was really interesting because I was pretty sure I was having a stroke. At that stage, I had weakness in my left hand, and it during the evening started to move up the left arm, and I was admitted regardless of the negative result on the CT scan, and had an MRI about 5 p.m. the following day, which confirmed that I was having a stroke. In the meantime, my symptoms were progressing, so that not only was my left arm affected, but my left leg was becoming affected. And over the next 30 hours or so, that weakness progressed through pretty much the left side of my body, including the left side of my face. So the MRI confirmed that I had a stroke in the right middle cerebral artery, which of course affects the left side. By the time the stroke had completed, it had left the left side of my body, the entire left side of my body, weakened. My left hand was kind of doing this, and I couldn't unclasp it. That little bit of shaking that you can see there, that's a spasticity in the left hand, means that it's overworking in the muscles and it's hard to keep it steady. I couldn't raise my left arm at all, unless I yawned, and for some reason I had a reflex action and my left arm raised itself directly above my head, and once the yawn finished, it kind of collapsed. So I had a bit of a journey ahead of me. I stayed at Royal North Shore for about 7 or 8 days, and I think about the third day or so, I saw a physio for the first time, who started doing some therapy with me. Up until that point, the only way I could move was to be moved around on what's called a Sarah Steady. It has a plank at the bottom once you place your feet, and then nurses help you to stand up, and you grab a bar to help yourself stay steady, whilst they swing in support behind your bum. You then lean back on that, and they transport you to wherever you need to go, which was primarily the bathroom. And that was an adventure in itself, but I won't go into that. After about a week there, I got transferred to Growthwaite Rehab Centre, which is attached to the Ryde Hospital here in Sydney. It was 7 p.m. at night. I got transferred into the lower ward, which has very few patients, into a room by myself, and basically saw a nurse that evening who helped me in the toilet, and then I went off to sleep, not really knowing what was going to happen the next day. I rang Josie, my wife, early the next morning when I woke up, distraught, distressed, despondent, fairly sure that nothing was going to improve with my situation, and I thought, why bother being here? Why am I here? In the existential sense, really, not just why am I in that particular facility. The damage that had already occurred to my brain over the years because of the Cardisil, I suspected meant that I really didn't have a great chance of recuperating in any way, in any meaningful way. The neuro registrar came and saw me that morning, and I told her how I felt and my reasoning for it. She explained that the white matter damage in my brain, which is damage to the neurons that control everything in your body, really wouldn't impact on my ability to recuperate and to rehabilitate, at least to some degree. So I took heart from that, and the next day, well, actually that day, I went to the gym, and one of the physios there, Jack, put me in this device which hangs from the ceiling, puts you in a support vest, so you got no chance of falling. And I took my first hesitant steps, hanging from the ceiling, and my rehabilitation began. I should say that while I was at Royal North Shore, I did see a physio who helped me to shakily stand, supported obviously, to help start strengthening my left leg. And in the course of the few days that I was there, I did actually take a few steps again whilst I was holding onto a rail, so there was hope there. It became obvious that my mouth from here across to there had become affected by the stroke, and so I did have a few speech therapy lessons. You can hear, I think, sometimes that I have a little bit of issue with talking. That's partly because of the effect on the lips. So the techniques that I was taught were to slow down my speech, to enunciate better, and to think about the words that I use more carefully. So I'm reasonably happy with how things are going on that front. So in the course of the next 5 weeks, I did an intense amount of rehab, 5 days a week, for 3 hours per day, and eventually got to the point where I was able to walk unassisted. And it's not pretty, gotta say, but I can walk slowly. I have to make sure that I'm focusing on my balance. I can't kind of, as I used to be able to, I can't kind of walk and look around too much at the same time. I can't look up. Vertigo comes on. So anyway, I've got to admit that I didn't think I'd be in this place, physically, emotionally, where I am now. When I look back 6 months ago, as I say, I thought that there really wasn't any hope at all. So I'm not sure how far the progression will go going forward. I hate that saying, going forward, in the future. But I'm hopeful. So for the time being, I am where I am, which is 1,000% better than where I was when I first went into hospital. All right, catch you all later.